Okay, so we're going to start the live. Lots to talk about. Really, we're talking about the root chakra. We're talking about P. Diddy is an example of what's been going on for centuries. This is not new at all, sadly. And just waiting for people to get on, waiting for Andromeda Flame to get on and get going with this talk about what's been going on in the music industry and the entertainment industry and deviancy and sex magic and kind of weird shit that the 1% have been like they're alchemists and they're chameleons, and we need to understand the power that they have. I remember when I was a kid, when I don't know if you guys have record players, old record players, but the old records, as what they call acid rock, if you could play it, if you played it backwards, this was done subliminally and on purpose because a lot of artists would come clean with it. But in the 70s, when acid rock was really big, you could push the record counterclockwise and there'd be all kinds of weird shit coming out, and on purpose, by design. So there was been a lot of subliminal shit done in music for a long time, massive long time. We can go back to the 440 hertz, but we're going to be talking about sex magic and the bastardazation of sex magic and how sex magic is used in the dark and in the light. And the reason why we need to explore that is because what's about to happen is a domino effect that is going to shake people up. It's going to also elicit a lot of maybe unhealed trauma that you guys, many people have. So let me look at, where is Andromeda? Okay, let me get her on. Okay, Andromeda. Wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So I wanted to, if you don't mind, I wanted to kind of like go back so we have a fair kind of discussion about this so that we don't start talking about it as if this is new. We're going to go all the way back to some of the beginnings with Elvis Presley and somehow getting custody of Priscilla at 15. Okay? When the hell is a grown man doing with a young girl? So this has been going, what was the, Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin at 14. Okay? So this concept that this is new is we need to eradicate that right off the bat. And the question I have for all of us is, because I wasn't even born when Elvis Presley was doing this kind of fuckery and all of that. Why wasn't society questioning the fact that he had taken a young teenage girl in the 1950s and done that? So when we look at R. Kelly, okay, because there was a precedent, right? So I just kind of, Jerry Lee Lewis with the 14-year-old cousin that he married, and Elvis Presley. I'm sure there's other people that I don't even know about. So this is the early music business, okay, in the 1950s, okay? Let's go right to R. Kelly with Aaliyah. Aaliyah is 12 years old when he meets her, 12 years old, and they marry when she's 15. The song Age Ain't Nothing But a Number came out in 1994. What the fuck was going on all along? What were people thinking? So when you've got a guy like P. Diddy, who's allowed to just go, like he said, full on, what did he say when he had Justin Bieber at 15 coming over to his house for the 48-hour quote unquote custody, and they were going to just go full on tilt, wild, funky, whatever. I mean, the kid's eyes were, he looked like a fucking 10-year-old. Like I've seen 15-year-olds with like more, I don't know, more wisdom, ancient wisdom coming from the eyes. The kid looked like a little 11-year-old. So I wanted to kind of explore with Andromeda Flame, root chakra, the kidnapping of the masculine root chakra, how Hugh Hefner bastardized it, how Bob Guccione bastardized it, how Andrew Tate, by his own admission, the money, the millions of dollars that he made were from porn, and we're going to call it corn. Okay, so porn, aka corn, unfortunately. And then we're going to talk about what that means for the collective, because this is a big fucking topic. Because right now, it looks like the whole music industry is about to collapse and a new way of being is about to emerge. It's good news for all of you, to be honest. It's massively good news. So I wanted you to step in and tell us about root chakra, how it impacts. Okay, when we say root chakra, it's between your legs, okay? It involves what's between your legs. So if you could explain to them what that entails, and then we'll go into the bastardization of sex magic, and we'll explain what that means. Okay, thank you.
Sure, and tying it into sex magic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because sex magic is one of the most powerful methods of manifestation gifted to us in these human bodies. Right? We have beautiful bodies, capable of so much, and that sexual expression tied into our root chakra and identity are at the core of who we are, and how we express this is a fundamental and individual right. Like, we live in a society which has for millennia and in many different ways, some seemingly benign, some utterly abhorrent, hijacked our sacred sexuality. And understanding this and understanding how to heal your root chakra, what your root chakra does, is key to our ascension. Yep. Furthermore, a society which normalizes deviancy and abuse while protecting the perpetrators, whether they're protected by governments, industries, or monarchies, must be challenged. The whole point of the ascension is to push through all sorts of 3D illusions, and this one is huge. This is what's going to make that house of cards fall.
Yep.
Because when we recognize the power and the essential nature of our root chakra, how our root chakra has been hijacked, how our connection with our root chakra has been taken from us, once we understand that and heal it, we will step into that multidimensional power. All of those of us who are here, who are twins, starseeds, light workers, that's what we're here to do. We're here to step into that multidimensional power, to lift the veil of 3D illusions, and to bring that energy to planet Earth. Now, the root chakra, sometimes called the first chakra, is situated at the base of the spine, in the perineum, right? So between your legs, and you can imagine what any kind of abuse does to your root chakra. Okay, it completely shatters it. The colors of your chakras aren't important, okay? But if you read about the root chakra, you'll hear that it's red, or in the 5D, it's platinum. And the root chakra is all about the essentials, okay? And this is what's really important to understand. When the essentials are being threatened, when your safety, when the ability to live in secure housing, your access to food, your access to water, your access to community and sexual safety, when these things are challenged and repeatedly challenged, this damages and erodes your root chakra.
And that's why it's used, let me just jump in, please. And that's why it's used as a tool in combat, in war. This goes all the way back to 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, fucking 500,000 years ago. This grape, unfortunately, excuse me for using that stupid ass word for a very traumatic experience. Grape has been used. Lawrence of Arabia was great. In other words, to take a man by force is the worst, or child, which David Icke talks about quite often, rips the very foundation of a person's sense of self and self-worth. So what P. Diddy was doing, and many of us, I mentioned Elvis, I've mentioned Jerry Lee Lewis, I've mentioned R. Kelly, Dr. Dre, Hugh Hefner, taking underage girls or under the radar of that, it's a big deal. So I want Andromeda to talk about what, if you could go into the realm of David Icke and what he was talking about, but carefully, how the elite literally kidnap by design the root chakra for purposes of power through the draconians, right? if you could go into that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, when I think of this, right, or I hear about the elite, we've got some very prominent examples in the UK, right? We've got Jimmy Savile,
Yeah.
and we've got Andrew Windsor. I will not use the prefix, the monarchist prefix. Okay.
That's fine.
So these people are not only prolific offenders and abusers, but they're massively protected. And therefore, David Icke would talk about this being part of the reptilian agenda. In fact, he calls the Windsors reptilians. He believes that the Windsors are reptilians, okay? And these beings, these draconian reptilians, okay, who have attacked humanoid species for millions of years on other planets and on this one. These beings, they feed off fear. They feed off despair. They feed off that energy. When a child is attacked, when a child is I can't even say that word, gripped.
It's by design. What they want to do,
I know it is.
I mean, they want to basically set it up so that we are desensitized, because words are evocative. Words have power.
Yeah.
We have to be very specific with our words, because one word can give you whole hundreds, thousands of images and feelings in your body. That's why they want to, change it into fruits and bullshit like that. And I'm irritated beyond words that we're being forced to do that, or else we can't talk to each other. But with
I know. It's frustrating beyond belief, because this is, we're not saying it to be sensationalist, right? We're saying it to actually talk about the horror of this, and not to make anybody afraid, but actually to induce righteous anger,
exactly,
and motivate people to recognize what is going on. These beings, okay, who are, they unfortunately have a disproportionate amount of power on planet Earth. Okay, and this is not woo-woo, right? This is proven. Okay, they have a disproportionate amount of power on planet Earth, and they feed off fear. And they don't just feed off the energy, but they feed off the chemical reactions that occur when people are terrified.
Exactly. And I remember the movie and the book Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas mentions that they mentioned the Andro. Finish the line, Andro. You know what I'm talking about, Andro. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. If you guys don't know half the shit, then you better get up to speed, because Andro is used by the elite to stay young. This is known, and it's used nonchalantly in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like I thought it was just a line of Coke or something, or a liquid form. I didn't fucking know what it meant. It blew my mind when I realized it's in the movie. You can actually watch it. So the elite have been using all kinds of weird occultist shit to harness power, and using sex magic. Eyes wide shut, wink, wink. Okay, for example, is a good example of that. And 30 minutes of that movie was deleted. What happened when the director, I forgot his fucking name, man. I wish I could.
Kubrick. It was Kubrick.
Yeah, Kubrick. I mean, he had a contract where none of his movies could be edited. He had final cut. And of course, suddenly, he passed away, mysteriously, and they were able to cut 30 minutes out. 30 minutes is a lot of information lost, but God knows what happened and what we lost in terms of understanding what the elites think. So what I'm going to say to you guys is that P. Diddy is just playing out shit that's been going on he's not the only, he's not the only pariah here. Let's not get crazy and confused here. And it's not just the music industry, it's the 1%. It's not, pedastry was something done by the ancient Greeks with young boys, and mentoring them, quote unquote. And look up pedastry. This is so essentially Justin Bieber and him had what you could call allegedly, I'm going to say that, a relationship based on those concepts, those philosophies that go back, 3,000 years? It's been this shit has been going on for so long, and the Ascension isn't just kumbaya, let's all love each other. No, it's about fucking destroying this incredible demonic, deviant shit that started very softly. I remember reading books in the 1970s, pulp fiction with a very famous author at the time in the 70s called Harold Robin, and there is some pedo shit in there, and it was just yeah, let's just publish it, it's fine. It was so normalized that men were raising their sons to think it was okay to desire underage girls. I remember coming out of the beach in Malibu, and I'm 14 years old, and this guy who was on a very famous show in the 70s, and I said to him, well, I'm 14. He went, no, that's fine. Come on, we have a party. I mean, it's terrifying that this has been prevalent so this is not new shit. It's just that now with social media, where now the shit's out on the streets, and thank God, this is about to end. So you guys should be excited and applauding the collapse of this shit that's been going on for thousands of years. You want to jump in with that and tell us how is this going to heal the collective root chakra?
Well, the fact that this is now, we're now in an age where this is being exposed. This is no longer acceptable. All right. You have very high profile people now being arrested. I tend to think that this really did start with Savile, with Jimmy Savile in the UK, right? Because that was such a huge case, and the authorities were forced into a position where they had to investigate all of these historical crimes, and you had a spate of people who were then being arrested for things that happened in the 1970s, right? So this house of cards has started to fall, not before time, right? There are so many people who have been serially damaged. Mm-hmm. But let's look at this from a collective perspective, right? The collective awareness is now raised. Yeah. The collective alarm has now been sounded. We are all aware of what is going on. What we now need to do is understand the agenda behind this, is understand why it is important for them to hijack our root chakras, right? And we'll talk about that. Why is it important for them to do that, right? Why don't they just, block our third eyes? Why don't they just block our crown chakras? Well, that won't work so well, right? The most efficient thing for them to do.
But let me jump in, because you just said something very powerful. Why don't they block our third eye? That's funny you said that, because right now I'm looking up what countries belong to what chakra. So check it out. The third eye is the third eye. When you look at the world, right? Like the heart chakra is in the UK, the third eye is in Afghanistan. And look what they're doing to the women. They're completely muzzled. They're not even allowed to speak outdoors. First of all, they're completely covered. No lock of hair can be shown. They cannot speak. A female voice cannot be heard around other men. That's the third eye chakra in Afghanistan. Is that a trip?
Yeah, no, for sure. But they could, they could do that. But by blocking the root chakra, they've done it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why would they specifically block our root chakras? Well, the whole point about your energy body, the whole point about becoming energetically strong, about understanding the flow of energy, is that it goes from root to crown.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about the Earth Star chakra, because I had a download about the importance of that, and its importance in healing our root chakras. But if your root chakra is not spinning, if it's blocked, if it's been damaged, and you're not able to heal it, and there's no judgment, right? Some of the things these people have been through are absolutely horrific. Okay, so we have a collective responsibility to those people. All right. So if your root chakra is completely blocked, you're not going to have the energy flow through your sacral, your your solar plexus, your heart, your high heart, your throat, your third eye. and your crown, and therefore you're not going to have spiritual vision. Your unconditional love is going to be blocked, and we all live like separate lives, like automatons, controlled and asleep. And that's what they want. They want us to be asleep. It's like in the early, when was it, 13th century, I think, when the frequencies were talked about, right? Where monks were talking about the frequencies of certain chants, and the frequencies we now know correspond to the chakras. Well, that was blocked by the Catholic Church. Again, why would that be? Why would a church that is wealthy, that indulges in this kind of abuse, and I speak as somebody who was brought up a Catholic, why would they have an interest in ensuring that our chakras are blocked? It's so that we can't self-actualize. It's so that we can't look and see what they're doing. It's so that our hearts are blocked. It's so that we exist in separation, consciousness, under control, quiet and asleep. And that is the whole point of why they target the root chakra, why they've targeted the root chakra from every possible angle you can imagine, and why they continue to do it.
So it's siphoning energy. So when P. Diddy was going after Usher at 13, when he was going after, and it looks like he was going after Justin Bieber. It looked, from what I saw in my research, is that he was hell bent, and the kid was being managed by another company or another agency, whatever. And then Usher took over, and then Usher, who had been under P. Diddy's, grooming at the age of 13, handed over this kid over to him, and the kid hasn't been right since. Let's be honest. Okay, everyone can see a grown man, but there's something broken in that. So the siphoning through the root chakra, which all the 1 percentile, no, not all, I shouldn't say that, but many of the 1 percentile, they suck it up like it's a milkshake through a straw. I'm not joking. And this is why I'm urging you, for you to understand the severity of what's been going on for centuries. I urge you to look up David Icke on his documentary Renegade, and you'll see, talks. Some of the things he's been talking about for years got him removed from YouTube, and he has his own website, which you may want to become a member to follow what he's talking about. This is a very brilliant man who put his life and his sense of safety, if you will, on the line to divulge a lot of the things that he was, researching. And he is a sober, conscious, loving man. He's doing it to help the planet. Why do you think P. Diddy is being used? And I want to read this comment. This defragmentation of the soul and chakra makes harvesting and control easier for them. Absolutely, Canary. Why do you think he is the fallen? He's falling, or do you think it's going to be a domino effect with what is her name? Christine Teigen, or whatever the hell her name is. She's been so, she doesn't give a shit. You think other people are going to go down as fast as I'm thinking? Or do you think it'll be a Epstein-Weinstein type of deal where, crickets?
Where it all gets hushed up. I think that the noise is it's too noisy now. When the Epstein thing was, a lot of that was hushed up by the British monarchy, because of the implications it had for the firm, as they call it, right?
Yeah.
And the main accuser, that young woman, the main accuser was basically paid off an undisclosed sum. Okay. Now, you're talking about an extremely powerful institution. The likes of the other, and I don't know if we should go ahead and name them, honestly. Because everybody should know who they are. But the likes of the other people who have been implicated, right? Yeah. Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Usher, right? All of these other people who have been implicated in this particular case. Yeah. I think they're either going to have to go underground. I don't think we're going to hear much from them. And it really does depend what happens with Sean Combs, right? Whether he squeaks, okay, or whether they've got him afraid, because somebody's pulling his strings. This is what we have to understand.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not making any excuses for his behavior at all. What he has done is abhorrent beyond words.
Yeah.
But somebody's pulling his strings. This is bigger than him. Now, whether he stepped out of line, whether he was starting to grow a conscience, who knows? Who knows why he has now been picked up? There's always a reason for the timing that these people are picked up. It's never an accident.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the blue and white country is doing all kinds of fuckery on that level, same level, okay? And they've been sheltering pedos, okay, who are caught in our country. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I know here in America, these pedos are allowed to flee to, that country we're talking about, on that side of the world, in the Middle East, democracy and all that bullshit. And they're allowed. They're allowed to go there. So they've allowed their whole country to just keep bringing in I mean, I don't even understand. Like, they don't even give a shit about their own kids. Their safety, the safety of their own kids is secondary to just giving asylum to men who are about to be jailed, and they're allowed to just get on the plane and leave. So, not to mention, there was something that was filmed that was on the line of what you can imagine when a man is with, a man to a man, a boy to whatever, filmed, and these people were they're heroes. So let me put it this way. What is it about the root chakra that is so precious to these people that they will use it? And some of them don't even know their full power. They're like dogs. They do the biddings of their masters. They don't even know what and why they're doing it. But there's something higher to that level of siphoning off that kind of power. Because when the average person who has gone through a trauma, okay, who has been essayed as underage, or even adult, okay, in jail or wherever, okay, some of them never recover. Never fucking recover. Ever. This is we're watching it with Justin Bieber, whatever. People go, what about Usher? He was a victim. Yes, but I'm not seeing the same, body language, okay? I'm not seeing a man destroyed. Like Justin Bieber, I'm seeing him talking about how he wants to protect his kid and he can't even make eye contact. He's looking at the floor. He's barely able to fucking be in his body. So there's something about siphoning this power that is going on worldwide and has been for like we just said. But the issue is, what is the distraction? Well, we're about what's happening with Russia, what's happening with them trying to pick a fight with Lebanon. There's all kinds of shit happening to keep our gaze on P. Diddy instead of us doing a 360. And I'm going to ask you all, do a 360. What does that mean? Look around you. Get your eyes off P. Diddy for a minute and go, what else is going on that they're trying to get our attention completely off everything else that's going on, okay? In the same realm as Grape, but in other parts of the world for a reason, by design. It's one of the protocols of WAR. We all know that. It's been going on for centuries. So what are they preventing us to really understand? What are we ignoring in our focus on this guy who's really, I hope to God, is just a domino effect to free us from the shackles of the energetic frequency that has been impacting you guys for all of your incarnation, not just this one. What do you want to say on that, or how can you expand on that?
Well, I think we're talking about it,
yeah.
Right? This is being presented as a celebrity story, another word I detest, as a celebrity story, and we're all kind of, looking for the latest, salacious details and who else is going to be implicated. But what we're doing is we're actually talking about what this is about, and this is all about keeping us under control. This is all about ensuring that our energy is kept in the 3D or below, so that we don't ascend, right? And,
Yeah.
and part of the reason that these stories break is to ensure that we're all distracted and we're not thinking about, well, what is this actually about? What is the deeper agenda?
Right.
Why does this keep on happening? Why is there an epidemic, a seeming epidemic of this on planet Earth?
Well, is it an epidemic? I think I'd like to ask you, do you think it's an epidemic when there was pedastry in Greece? Is it really an epidemic, or has it always?
I think it's been a millennia-long epidemic.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think we've ever been free from it.
Right.
I think the difference now is that it is being exposed. They look. Social media is a fantastic tool, right?
Yeah.
It can either inform or it can control. It depends how you use it. It depends what your consciousness is when you engage in social media, right?
Yes.
Are you going to sit and look at the dancing girls,
Yeah.
right? Or are you going to listen to a live like this?
Exactly.
Okay, where we're talking about real stuff, okay? Because these are the tools we have at our disposal right now in this day and age.
Yeah.
This is why them keeping it quiet is becoming harder and harder and harder, right? Now, if the whole reason, look, they what they're doing is they've attacked individuals' root chakras, right? And in doing so, and allowing the stories to be exposed, they're attacking all of our root chakras, right? Because our collective consciousness is a consciousness of fear and disbelief and a lack of safety, right? And this damages all of our root chakras.
So I'm sorry, I just see a comment here. P. Diddy is innocent. In capital letters, no less. Honestly,
Okay.
you should be ashamed, ma'am. Whatever you are with your user, I'm blocking you. I don't have time for this kind of bullshit. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry. There's fucking videos. You think these people will kick down doors because they don't know what the fuck's going. You know, the level of, the level of idiocy in the average muggle out there is blowing my mind. He's innocent.
And that's not even what we're talking about. You know, look, if that's all you have to say about the conversation we're having, I think you'd better move on and watch the dancing girls, really, because your consciousness is clearly not at a level where you can cope with or engage constructively in this kind of discussion. Goodbye.
It's like a parent that says to their kid that it never Uncle Billy didn't do shit. That's like fucking massive gaslighting. Massive. And not only do we have leaders that gaslight us constantly, as you all know, you've all voted for your senators and they're full of shit, most of them, the majority. But now we have the populace that wants to gaslight themselves and gaslight us on something. Do you know what it takes? They've been on watching this guy, P. Diddy, make his arrogant videos. He's on fucking late night talking about how he puts locks on the door so women don't leave. I'm not fucking joking. I'm not making it up. His mouth said those words. And how they need water and alcohol and no air conditioner so people can sweat. I reposted the video. Okay? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, hang on, this is 15 years ago. And the interviewer, I forgot his name, said, well, that sounds kind of, he made a comment like creepy. Oh no, and he went on. He was like so arrogant and so comfortable. And when you're that comfortable sharing your fuckery, what the hell are you doing in privacy? You know, Spike is doing shit like that. And they got a whole bunch of people. Now there's going to be all kinds of rumors because unfortunately there are rumor mills that want to get views. I'm only going to share with you shit I actually heard with my own 2 ears, and it was not AI. It was actually said by him. And I saw multiple versions of that same exact interview probably like 15 years ago. So when you have somebody, this is important for us to address, because when you have people supporting people like him, like Clive Davis, like you know, like Hugh Hefner. I mean, you guys have to understand, we went from a period where in the 60s and 70s, it was considered a flex to be on the cover or the pages of Playboy. If you were a girl, woman, whatever you want to call it. We need to fucking totally revamp what's healthy. so that we can ascend collectively, individually. Because as long as we think it's a fucking flex to be on the cover or the inside pages, I remember they'd have Playboy college girls. And why do I know this? Because my father would bring this shit home. All the men in the 1960s and 70s had Playboy and Penthouse in there, right out there on the front, right out there on the table, like the cocktail table. It was not something you hid, okay, for the most part. All right? And so that's why now you guys as women are dealing with men looking at you like you're crazy, jealous, and rabid when you say, please don't watch this porn. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I can never match these women. There's a lot of pain that it causes to other women who are trying to make their men look at them. And what it does is it kidnaps the true intimacy of eye gazing, of tantric sexual connection. Okay? And it started, I'm going to say it's flat out, with 50 Shades of Grey, when it romanticized deviancy. Okay? When Cinderella gets her ass kicked and loves it. Okay? So if I sound pissed, I am pissed. Because I'm sick and tired of men playing tiddlywinks with their root chakra and fucking the divine feminine, so that now women won't trust one single man. She won't trust any man ever, and always say, well, see, that's why I'm not going to be with a man. We need to fucking shift that consciousness back into having healthy sexual connections, intimacy with our masculines, and we need you masculines to get your shit to fucking get together. Get your shit together. And stop having these people kidnap your root chakra. Stop it. Because they own you. They own you by the roots. They have you by the kahunas. And I'm sorry if I sound pissed, because I am pissed. Okay, that's why FOB was able to get away with this shit for fucking, 30 years? And all of them, Clive Davis, Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, R. Kelly, Dr. Dre, all of them. Fucking all the rock stars were having, all the little girls in the back were 14, 15 years old. Now it was fucking allowed and thought normalized, until now we have therapists telling us, well, that's how men are wired. You know, they go for, because it's about the healthiest woman to give birth to. No, it's not. It's deviant. It's fucking sick. And it's fucking up divine connections with the masculine and feminine. It is not Mary Magdalena and Yeshua type of energy. It is separating women and men from each other, and that's exactly what the 1% I do want. They're laughing at us. We're fucking idiots to them. Sorry, go ahead. I'll calm down.
No, I was just going to say, and I think it's particularly bad in America. I have to say, yes, the kind of the widespread hijacking of sacred sexuality. Like I remember being utterly appalled, right, that it was considered a normal night out to go to a strip bar.
Yeah, that's right.
And it just wouldn't happen here. Like, it's something that people don't even think about doing, right? Mm-hmm. But it's considered very normal in America. Now, why is that? Like, this is no judgment, right, on the women who work at these places, right? That's entirely their choice. However, right, the hijacking of sacred divine sexuality, because sexuality is sacred, right? And I'm not some like Bible thumper, right, who's going to tell you that you can't have sex before marriage, right? Like that again is just another hijacking, right? And just another hijacking of sacred sexuality.
Right.
But however you choose to express that should be right for you. It should be your expression of your own sacred divine sexuality, whatever that looks like for you. Okay? And as long as no one is being coerced or harmed
or drugged
or that's coercion, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean because it's not so common, because this shit was happening in my high school, and I was a private high school in Manhattan, and they were making all the drinks. That was in the 1979. I'll never forget. Okay? What I feel is that when you have the PD, I hope to God they do the rounds. I hope they do their job and start doing subpoenas on these people, so that the whole thing collapses by the end of this year, because we need a complete cleanup. But when, exactly what you were saying, when they coerce, when they harm, when they normalize. You have to understand the psychology of America. We have to look at this, okay? I was born and raised in France, just so you know. So right before I left this France, okay, I'll never forget a commercial of a young girl in bed, getting out of bed, nude, okay, nude, and she is putting on her bra and panties, and it was an ad for Chantilly bras and panties. I come to this country within 48 hours, and what do I see? A Playtex commercial for bra, right? And they're wearing a leotard up to the neck, down to the sleeves, a long sleeve, and they're showing the Playtex bra. Do you understand? So it literally 6 hours away, I'm in a country where nudity is not considered sex. It's called nudity. Okay, that's why we have art all over the place and sculptures. And that subtle difference that seems subtle and unimportant to you is massively important. So sickening that I'm going to give you an example of another thing on how it shows itself in a deviant behavior. I had a friend who told me her mother-in-law got a lamp. It was the bust of a nude woman. And she crocheted a fucking top. And I went, why didn't she just sell the fucking lamp? She crocheted a top for the lamp with the bust of a woman. Do you understand? This kind of fuckery is what creates deviancy and bastardizes sex magic. If sex magic was not powerful, it would not be used in an occultish way. The occults use it, right? Dark magic, black magic, whatever you want to call it. And light magic, meaning sex magic, tantra, connection, all of that. So clearly, the root chakra is probably the most important thing you should protect for your children and for yourself. And you got to heal it. I'm sorry, I'm heated over there.
No, but you're absolutely correct. And that story of the lamp, I mean, that never fails to to amuse me. The fact that people are so afraid, right? Exactly. This is an expression of fear of sacred sexuality.
Well, I mean, they're constantly covering their nipples. Let's put these little pasties. Why? Why are we covering? Why is there an obsession to cover nipples? Why? Because when a woman walks down the street with no bra, she crosses fucking massive traffic jams in this country. It's not happening in Europe. Why? Because most women don't wear a bra. In fact, most women go topless in their fucking beach, by the lake, in their terrace, in their garden. No one's fucking losing our fucking shit. Okay? That's why. And we need to revamp how we see the human body so that we're no longer having P. Diddy's and Ushers and underage and normalizing underage shit and pedestry. All of that is interconnected. Don't think it isn't. And we have to look at the psychology that would create this massive, it's actually dangerous deviancy. It's actually dangerous. It's dangerous because we've got little 9-year-olds, little kids that are hearing this. You don't think they're hearing this shit? And it's making them scared about their own bodies. Do you get me? This is like, what do I tell my kids? I don't know, man. You better tell them what's normal and what isn't. And I have these conversations now because it's either going to be you or someone else that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about or has a different agenda. And not a good one. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense?
And talk to them about their bodies, right? You know, be open about their bodies.
You know, I mean,
talk about the proper names for things and what they're for, right? Don't shy away from, you know, the beauty and the wonder of the human body. You start acting like the human body is something to be ashamed and afraid of, and that kid is going to be an adult with hang-ups. Right.
I mean, when you look at Justin Bieber, you know, one of the questions they're asking, where was mom? You know, good fucking question. Where was mom? Oh, where was mom with a cell phone for her kid, breaking into the music industry and saying, baby, there's some strange shit. I know you're good. I know you're talented. But if there's anything that feels, I need you to call me. I need you to SOS. And I will be on the first plane to you. I will get you out of there. Do not think that you need to do anything for us to make money. Clearly, she never gave the buoy to Justin Bieber. A lot of these kids don't get those buoys from their parents because if that was true, if they did, you wouldn't have these accepted wink, wink, nod, nod. Let me let Elvis Presley get custody of a 15-year-old girl. Come on now, come on, okay? And So we have to educate our kids so they can tell us immediately, Professor blah 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 did this. The bus driver this. Uncle Bobby did this. Okay, good. Let me handle you. You did great. Thanks for coming to me. But Justin Bieber did not have that fucking SOS linked to his parents. That's why it went down like it did. Because if he had badass parents, helicopter parents, the shit wouldn't have gone down. And he still would have been successful because he could have gone back to the old agency. The fact that they're just handing kids over, like that little girl that was handed over, that 15-year-old girl that was handed over to P. Diddy, and he made a joke, oh, I adopted her, and then he had to come back out saying, well, no, it was just a joke, it's just 48 hours, she's going to spend time with us. Why would a 15-year-old girl, what does she have to do with grown-ass men? So you have to understand, parents are pimping their kids. So you need to make sure that your kids know that you'll never pimp your kids out. Never, under any circumstances, will you do it. Poor people do it too. We hear all the time of poor people pimping their kids, right? You've heard that in many, many cases all around the world. It's not a religious thing. It's not at this point, it's all over the world. We know this, right? Okay, with that, but you need to make sure that if you're not a pimp to your kids, you better make sure that they know that the sale, call me right away. Right away, get a hold of me. I don't care. Have a secret password that says whatever, emergency, SOS, scared, whatever the hell, planet Earth, whatever. Just come up with a password so your kid knows that they can call you at work. They can call you anywhere from anywhere in the world. You'll take the call. If you don't do that, then you're allowing your kid, okay, to be a victim to whoever wants to use your kid for whatever they want to do, okay? And there's a reason why they're doing it. They're siphoning off the energy, and it's like a B12 shot for them. I think it's even more intense. They get completely gaga. In other words, whatever it does to them, it must be intense, and they need more and more of it. It's like a drug, right? So it's not like they just stop for one kid. R. Kelly, especially maybe Chris Brown, now makes me wonder. You should wonder about every single person in Hollywood. Christine Teigen didn't give a fuck. Okay, she came out making jokes. I'm not joking, okay? Ellen, all of them. I think there's a few that are clean. I really do. But I think most of them are nasty and they're dirty. And they've normalized it. And like Denzel Washington, apparently, he said, leave the party before the devil comes in. I'm paraphrasing poorly, but that's what he said. So he went to parties for the handshakes and all that shit, which I mentioned in a previous live. But he would leave knowing that it was gonna. I don't think he knew to the level of where it was going. Maybe he did, but I hate to. Anyway, go ahead. I'm going to tell you a story about a couple parties when I was a kid in Malibu. That I thank God I was pulled out of when I was a kid. But go ahead, tell me, what are your feelings on, how do you see this difference in England as opposed to the US? Because we do have issues with underage kids in England, and there's been scandals out of Ireland and things of that nature with trafficking.
I mean, this is a worldwide issue. I think the difference with America, so looking at it as an outsider, okay, looking at it from across the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. America's biggest problem is that America is a country which is completely infested with greed.
Yes.
And people are hungry for power and hungry for money and hungry for status, right? Yeah. And they're told that's what defines their worth. The American collective psyche and American society is so horrifically brutal that it's one of the only countries on earth, it's certainly the only developed economy which does not provide universal health care for its citizens, right? There is no sense of safety or security in America at all. And therefore, people have almost been put into a position where they drink the Kool-Aid, and I'm using that term very deliberately. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Where they drink the Kool-Aid and they join in and they get involved and they keep their mouth shut,
Yeah.
or they can't pay their medical bills and they starve.
Exactly. It's all intertwined. I mean, I'm looking at Brooke Shields. You guys remember Brooke Shields?
Yeah,
Brooke
bless
Shields,
her.
how old was she? I think she was 10 or 12 when she posed in Playboy. She posed in Playboy. She was, I think, 12. She wasn't 13. I do remember that. She was fucking at most 12. Brooke Shields, her mom pimped her out. Terry Shields. Normalized. I remember when I was going to high school in Manhattan, New York, in a private school, that up on the billboards were 3-year-old girls with full-on makeup, gorgeous little fit. Well, no kidding. When you put makeup on a 3-year-old, a flawless skin, flawless features, hello. And they were actually going for it until there was an outcry, thank God, of women and men who said, what the fuck are you, what, 3-year-olds? You're going to use them for print ads? Are we insane? Just the face, okay? Just the face. But Brooke Shields from the Giddy Up, the Blue Lagoon, and I can't even imagine what it must have been like for her. I can't even imagine, because there was nobody with cell phones recording, like what we have today. Okay? Everyone's recording shit. Everyone's a journalist, actually, because of your phones, because of your videos. And so what's interesting is that it is greed, but it's greed beyond greed. Because Brooke Shields' mother certainly didn't have to do, Playboy? Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Hugh Hefner's a fucking pig. And yet men respected him. Wow, he's got 4 kids. Do you remember the life? They had a reality show where there were 4 blonde chicks. I think they were about even the same size. All blonde, all under 22. And one of them came out going, it was very traumatic for her. It fucked her up. Well, she came out to say it. What about the other 3? And this is what I'm saying. And men need to stop this bullshit. Oh, there's an old line. I can't even say it because I'll get plugged. I'll get pulled out of this live right now. If an old saying that is absolutely the most contemptuous, deviant saying I've ever heard, and men say it constantly. I've heard it my whole life. At 14, when I lived in this country, and not just this country, Switzerland, France, Italy. I was 8 and having my ass grabbed, my thighs grabbed, my belly. Come on now. Where the fuck is this coming from? It's because we've normalized it. We've accepted it. And now psychologists are writing books about what that's say. It's just, what is it? Darwinism is just the fittest women to give birth are young children. No, 14-year-old girls don't have hips like a fucking 20-year-old. I'm sorry. Let's wake up. And this is where men need to step up. The divine masculine needs to fucking blast the shit out of guys like P. Diddy. Elvis should not be. I'm sorry. I could never listen to that man's music. Once I found out that he had custody of a teenage girl, a little girl, a baby, who was playing with her dolls. We're talking about the 1950s, so there weren't 15-year-old girls today and not 15-year-old girls in the 50s. She was playing with her dolls and make-believe shit. It blows my mind. And so we have grown up in that culture of accepting this shit. And now, in force, masculines and feminines, divine masculines and feminines, we need to talk about it a lot until it drives this whole thing to completely collapse, until we no longer have celebrities and new celebrities like Tupac. Tupac rising up, saying things. Look at his interviews. He's talking about how can you actually be a millionaire. He was talking about, it was 1994, I believe, or 1993. He's talking about how can you be rich? How can you have that kind of wealth and watch people starve? How can you sleep? Here's the young man with no social media. There was none. And he's realizing the disparity and the injustice of a system that would allow billionaires to live on this planet and not do their due diligence to help the masses who are suffering. They don't give one fuck, okay? And all of that is intertwined with root chakra abuse and men saying, well, it's normal. All men look at porn. All men, yeah. And then you're deluded. And instead of you being a beautiful masculine who's actually becoming a speaker and protecting your community and doing the work that you should do as a fucking man. In fact, some of us as women are more of a man than most men walking the streets today. Most of us are more of a man than many of you. And you need to holster your fucking root chakra and do what you're supposed to do and become a man. Because if a woman like me can be more of a man than you, we have a fucking problem. Don't you agree? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Right. It's that greed beyond greed. It's the veneration of material wealth. And in doing so, what that's actually doing to the consciousness is that it's taking away, it's taking us, or Americans, or however you want to term this, it's taking them away from the purity of what it is to be human, of what it is to have an incarnation in this body, on this incredible planet, right? So you venerate wealth, right? So you chase the wealth, and you don't manifest it, right? Because it's most people will believe that this is completely unattainable. So they look up to exploiters like Hugh Hefner, right? They will look up to exploitative people like P. Diddy because he's so wealthy, right? They will look up to Jay-Z and Beyonce, and more is coming out about that pair.
They're evil. They're pure fucking evil. It's pure evil. And one of them just mentioned Disney. Yes, Disney with the phallic symbols intertwined in drawings. What the fuck? However, I mean, when we look at Disney and the tunnels and all that shit, and I mean, listen, some of the shit coming out, it's irrefutable. We can't ignore it. It's there. So this is why the big C isn't cleared, isn't healed. There's all types of people. I just actually posted a man who actually came up with a cure for the big C, okay? And he spent $20 million in researchers in 15 years. But will it ever come out? It'll probably be bought out from him, so it can never be released. Shit like that. What I'm trying to say to you guys is that when you guys say money is the root of all evil, you've got it all wrong. Many of you are saying that. And that is one of the oldest and the most toxic lines you can say. Money isn't that, because poor people do this. Look at India. Look at what happened to this doctor who got essayed and unalivened from the count of the fluids in her body. Let's put it that way. There must have been between 15 to 19 men. Now they're saying there was only one. The level of gaslighting, and I wouldn't go to India if you gave me $100,000 today. And that's the saddest thing I could ever tell you, because that is the country that gave us the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, chakras, understanding of chakras, mantras, Sanskrit, the language. What the fuck's going on there? But it's by design. Do you understand? So that women don't feel safe walking the streets in India. Do you get me? There were women who were from Europe and Asia walking around unaware, blind, fucking totally innocent, and almost like children walking around with their cameras, holding onto their phones, doing lives. And these men were following them, and until finally, I saw a couple of instances where people stopped them and go, "Get in the fucking car. You're not safe. Like, get in the goddamn car. We'll bring you to the embassy, to your hotel. You can't walk around like that in India." Can you imagine? This wasn't like that in the 70s at all. I can tell you. I'm not saying this wasn't perpetrated. I'm saying that if you look at pictures from Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, where they're wearing miniskirts, they look like any woman anywhere on the planet, right? And it's interesting how we've gone backwards, but maybe we've gone backwards to do a massive. We're propelling into ascension, and for ascension to happen, and I'm repeating myself, I'm aware, we have to expose all of the narcissistic, deviant, malignant shit that's been going on for a long time. And then completely, and we need to demand eradication of that. We should be demanding all. I honestly, Hollywood for me is, I'm having a hard time, okay? A lot of my favorite movies, I think the only guy I trust now, which is funny, because every time somebody speaks out, they call him crazy, Mel Gibson. The Mel Gibson tapes. Oh, they made sure that came out. And his comments when he was arrested in Malibu, right? Remember? Wink, wink. I think you know who I'm talking, blue and white team. So the fear factor of only one types of people can be victimized has been forced down our throats so that we can't talk about the Native American diaspora, the African American diaspora, all of the shit, the Chinese, the Japanese internment, all of the shameful shit, and God knows what else happened to the root chakras of many of these women and children and men. Okay? And so when we have a system like that and we are on the fringe of ascension, you're damn right that we are having light beings that are directing traffic and going, yeah, that's not going to work. So we are getting help, believe it or not, but it's up to us to push the door open. In other words, the light beings who are helping us have unlocked the door to this particular path. It's our job as men and women to now kick the fucking door down and go, that's it. You guys were rounding your asses up. It's done. You're not fucking controlling us anymore. And we need to talk about it a lot. If you're going to have Thanksgiving dinner, you better talk about real shit. Not about how Aunt Melba is sick with the big C, or how you guys all fucked each other out of the inheritance. I'm being real. These are the conversations we need to have, because in 2025, if we're not doing a massive purge as a collective and individually with our family members and so forth, 2025 is going to be you think this was a bad year? Wait till 2025 rolls around, unless we do our work. And this is part of the work. It's all root chakra. None of the other chakras can light up unless you've got that together and you own it. You grab it back from the 1%. I'm not joking. That means no more distractions, no more Super Bowl bullshit, no more let's figure out Beyonce's dance or whoever, Rihanna, and try to figure out their hand signals and the Lumina. Let's stop the bullshit. We all know who they are. Let's stop giving them attention immediately. And let's start bringing all of our powers back so that we can actually walk together as brothers and sisters out of the dark night of the soul. Let them have the 3D world. We don't want it. You want to duke it out and turn it into a Mad Max planet? Enjoy. Goodbye. We're done. That's how I feel. Obviously.
It is about reclaiming this. It's about reclaiming our sacred sexuality, reclaiming our root chakra, reclaiming what it is we're here to do, right? What it is to be human. Actually starting to live in communities and live a better life. And while there's still this level of suffering on the planet, none of us, if you're an empath and you're connected, you'll feel that suffering, right?
Yeah, of course.
And that affects all of us. So we reclaim it, right? We say we're not going to have your agenda anymore. We're going to set our own.
That's right.
We're going to set our agenda of peace, of respect for ourselves and for our planet, for all inhabitants of this planet, plant, animal, human.
Right.
We're going to reclaim that respect. We're going to create a genuinely ascended humanoid existence on this planet. And that's it.
And that's
the decision is made. Our decision is made. It's now up to us to walk the walk and to manifest. And Sama Arian 295 has just said, I think we're waking up, but I'm scared it's too late. It's never too late.
No, it's not too late at all. Not at all. Not at fucking all. No, it's not. And so, Andrew, I'm going to answer that for him, and then I'll answer it on my way as well.
No, it's not too late. Don't lose hope. Okay, there is a collective awakening going on. Okay, we're starting to see people become disgusted by inequality, become disgusted by Geno, become disgusted by abuse. We are starting to see that it's a collective awakening. It is happening when it is supposed to happen. Okay, it is not too late. This is divinely guided and it's in divine timing. Do not lose hope. You are needed. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
The fact that you've said that tells me that you're needed. You're essential. Your energy is essential.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing your work, keep manifesting that better reality for all.
That's right. And so we need to understand that we are actually in perfect divine timing. Don't you get that? You're thinking, well, it should have happened like 10 years ago. It should have happened during COVID lockdown. COVID lockdown was a very important time for many of us because what it did was it was incubating an awakening because people literally had to stay at home. They weren't allowed to do shit. In some countries, you couldn't actually leave until you couldn't even get your groceries unless you were allowed to. That was Australia. They're trying to create 15-minute cities, things of that nature. There's all kinds of, because they're afraid of our power. Because you see, the 99% is a strength in numbers, but the 1% has their boots on, our throats. However, all we need is 1% of conscious, awakened souls that say we do not consent as one giant rage, righteous rage. Do you understand? 1% against the 1%, we're much more powerful. Why? Because we have forgotten that we are rainmakers. We can control the wind. You might say, well, that's very esoteric. That's not true. No, actually, we fucking could. Did you know that? There are people training right now, remembering these lost arts of rainmaking and controlling wind. And in fact, Carlos Castaneda wrote about it in his book, Journey to Ixtlan. I think it's chapter 3, where he talks about how you harness the wind. Now, if you can harness the wind and dissolve inoperable, the big C, breast cancer, for example, or any, and by meditation, breathing. If you, again, I'm going to repeat myself, but some of you are new to this. I'm going to bring this up. If monks in Nepal can sit in the snow, doused with cold water, and put wet blankets on their bodies and completely soaking wet wool blankets, and within, say, an hour or an hour and a half of meditation and breathing and pranayama and chanting, they're dry and they're warm as fuck in the middle of nowhere. That shows us how powerful. You want to talk about junk DNA, my friend? You want to talk about us only using, what is it? It's 15% of our brain. I think I'm being generous with that number. We are about to go through a massive awakening, and we are being downloaded new light codes when you sleep. You know how you have your phone that gets upgraded on its software? You know how that, well, that's what's happening to many of you. Okay? But now it's time for you to actually give your angels, guides, and allies permission to guide you in word and action, and ask them to download new light codes and go through the dimensions that you want. Go past ninth dimension so I can understand, so I can see, so I can really help the collective wake up. Ask, request for upgrade of light codes. The basic light codes of upgrades that are happening are automatic. Okay? But if you want to, jump ahead of time, which I do, and I call every day. I say, please upgrade me now. Please upgrade me with more and more and more and more light codes from, I go all the way to the 18th dimension. I don't give a shit. Oh, well, it's too much. No, it's not, because I know how the filtering system of my 3D brain is only going to filter a certain amount. That's why Kundalini rising, by the way, let's go back to Kundalini rising on the root chakra and essaying people and graping people and doing what P. Diddy did, and all of these, Clive Davis, God knows, I don't want to keep repeating the list. You heard it. And there's a list, it's way bigger than this list. The list goes back years, decades. But when you look at Kundalini in your spiritual progress, how that is, it's actually blocked because of the kind of essay trauma that happens to underage human beings and adults. Okay, that's why they allow shit to happen in jails. There's a purpose to all of this in WAR. There's a purpose to this. It's what they're doing in the red, white, and blue part of the world. There's a purpose to it because it is a butterfly effect that slams into your root chakra, my friends. And so you need to call on your archangels to protect your energetic fields so that you don't, as an empath, without your own knowledge, absorb the trauma of other people. I'm not joking when I say that. The auric field can go out 20 miles and beyond. That's not a joke. So you should be saging yourself every day. You should be working on your chakras every day. You should be calling on your archangels to protect you like bodyguards every day. Don't fucking think you're not important. You are massively important, all of you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Look, there's a reason that they call this kind of thing dehumanization, right? And they call it dehumanization because it takes us away from our sense of self. And this is what we have to reclaim. And you do need to work on your chakras. Every chakra, every day, no exceptions. Keep yourself strong, get your auric field strong. Because look, we are on the side of light here. All right? We are supported by source energy, God, what however you choose to look at it, God, the universe, whatever, okay? We are supported by them. These people are not. There has been a perception of a power imbalance that is nothing more than an illusion. And this is what we have to cut through, because we are much more powerful than them. We are the new 1%. And we're not going to abuse our power.
No.
We're going to use our power for good. We're going to use our power to raise up every single being on this planet.
Bravo. Yes. Bravo. And so one of the things that I want you to do, because if you guys have gone through any of these experiences we're talking about, right? If you are a microcosm of a Justin Bieber or a Brooke Shields or whatever, right? Whoever, however, I want you to learn how to start. You better talk to your body and forgive it for whatever happened to you. Forgive it for it, because some of you may actually. There was a movie. What was that movie? You guys have homework. What was that movie with Clive Owens that you and I talked about?
Oh, is that I'll Sleep When I'm Dead? Or,
yes. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, with Clive Owens, your homework is that. Why? Because the beginning scene starts out with an unaliving of self because of an essay. I want you to watch it because it's a man. It's about a man harming himself because he can't. So what happens because the body's an organic machine, it sometimes will, in your mind, betray you. That's why kids get so fucking confused. If you get my drift, I can only speak in codes. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be as brutally honest as I can without, getting us, thrown out of this. But suffice it to say, if that happened to you as a kid or as a teen or as a grown woman or man, I want you to forgive your body for not shutting down when you wanted it to shut down. Because there's a collision between what your body how your body might have reacted and what your mind and soul was screaming no. Does that make sense? So I need you guys, if you guys went through anything like that, share that wisdom with other people. I need you to start forgiving yourself. I'm going to be doing a guided meditation. I'm going to record one on the premise of forgiving your body for betraying you when you needed it to shut down, but it did not, because it's an organic machine. What is that? I wish I could speak in less coded words, but I think you understand that the human body in itself is sensual. Do you know why we incarnate in these bodies? Because we love the feel of the sea spray on our skin. That's sensuality. The wind, swimming in the silken waves of the ocean, that's sensuality. Walking in the snow and feeling the coolness in your cheeks and the snows, the snow, like the snowflakes falling on your lashes and your tongue. That's sensuality. Do you get where I'm coming from here? Forgive your body if it did not do what it needed you to do. Do not be confused. It wasn't your fault. You did nothing wrong. And I'm saying that to some people who need to hear that right now.
Yeah, that's really important to forgive yourself. And that's the most important thing, right?
Very.
And what that's doing, by forgiving your body, you're taking your power back.
Exactly.
You're removing power from the perpetrator. You're taking that power back and you're nourishing your own energy. And it's not the flick of a switch. It does take work, and it's not easy.
It isn't. I feel like crying.
I know.
It's not, because what it does is it makes, you've heard of precocious children, precocious kids. Yeah, some kids becoming precocious doesn't just happen out of fucking nowhere. Something happened. Okay, something happened. And parents are so delulu, working like assholes, working too, especially single mothers, God bless your souls, working 2 to 3 jobs. I had a friend who, she was 12 and she was having experiences with baseball players, again, New York, baseball players in their deep 30s. She was fucking 12. Why was this happening? Because her mother was Korean, and she was half Korean and half white, and the kid. And her mother was working, I'm not joking, 3 jobs. I think this woman was probably clocking 3 hours a day of sleep and working 7 days a week to make sure that her kid went to private school because she wanted better for her kid. Unbeknownst to her, this kid needed her more than she needed that fucking private schooling. Does that make sense? So a lot of you have experiences that you've never spoken even to yourself. And I need you guys to start talking to that little kid inside of you, that little boy, little girl that did nothing fucking wrong. Nothing wrong. You didn't deserve it. You didn't ask for it. You didn't dress a certain way. I need you to do that because before you can ascend, the biggest thing that you're going to have to do is forgive yourselves. Okay? And it doesn't have to take years. Maybe a few months of you doing guided meditations, working on your chakras, journaling with your body. Somatic healing, one of the best people to look at for somatic healing. His name is Reginald Ray. Reginald Ray. That's your homework. You got 2 homeworks. I'll wake up what was the movie? Clive Owens. It's that movie. I want you to watch it because I want you to see how traumatic, even for a grown man, this kind of shit happens. What was that movie again? I'm sorry, my love.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, so please look that up, and then do a guided inner child meditation. You can use mine, you can use whatever, find whatever you love. But the reason why this is going to be important, my loves, is because if you want to ascend, which I know you do, you want to be in 5D, okay? Then that's some of the homework you need to do, my loves, and you deserve it. And the thing that's going to stop you from actually ascending isn't because you're a mean person, you're fucked up, or you have shadows. It's going to be because you don't feel like you're deserving. It's the only thing that's going to stop you from ascending. Believe it or not, it'll be your lack of self-worth, your lack of self-love. Your forgiveness is the most important thing, and you have to forgive them also, because if you don't, if you still harbor hate, anger, wanting to, do whatever to them, please don't waste your time, because they are still actually abusing you now. If that's your consciousness, they're still actually, the reverberation of that energy is going to fuck you up out of ascension. That's the saddest thing I can tell you about this. What did you want to add on that? Because I know that the ascension, what do you think are the mechanics of the ascension that you can share now?
I mean, the mechanics of the ascension, it starts with the basics, right? And it does start with your chakra work, because if you do, for example, right, if you go through each of your chakras every single day, you're strengthening your energy body, you're nourishing yourself, you're caring for yourself, you're showing love to yourself. And the ascension it's not difficult, right? Well, when I say it, it's not going to sound difficult, but the actual process takes a bit of work. But self-love, forgiveness, and not living through fear, not making decisions through fear.
Yeah.
These are the essentials that you need to grasp so that you can ascend. If you can live that fearless, good existence, and by fearlessness, I don't mean doing stupid things, right? I mean loving without fear, opening your throat chakra so you speak without fear.
Yes.
Right? Accepting your downloads and your visions without fear, without gaslighting yourself. That's what I mean about living without fear.
Even if you're gaslit, let's say you go to your mom or dad or uncle or whatever, and they still gaslight you. I don't give a shit. You're not here to get closure from these MFers. I'm sorry. You're here to hand that box of bullshit back to them. And if they won't take it with honor and integrity and go, yeah, I fucked up, or yeah, I'm sorry, then leave it at the door. Like, put it at their feet. Like, literally leave that box of bullshit at their feet and walk away. It's not yours. It never was yours. It's their problem. Watch the movie Kinsey with Liam Neeson. So you got 2 movies to watch. Kinsey, why? Because I want you to understand how he wrote. Dr. Kinsey was, in 1959, came out with a book, what was it called? Male Sexuality or something like that, 1959. And the movie will blow your fucking mind because it will show you what happens when you suppress sexuality. It will become deviant. You'll see what I mean. You'll see exactly what I mean. The ignorance of sexuality in this country in the 1940s and 50s was shocking. Shocking. He had couples coming to him who didn't know how to do it in the 1950s. That's why he did his studies and did the book. And then there was a second book with female. Okay? So I want you to watch the movie. Again, it's called Kinsey, Kinsey, with Liam Neeson. And then watch, and then you're going to start understanding this problem that's never been fleshed out to the level we're fleshing it out. It is because social media was gifted to us by other planetary beings so we could communicate all over the world, from the UK to Japan, my friends, to Africa, everywhere, and share the light, not share porn, corn. Though it was funny because it was the pornographers who understood how to use it first. They actually knew it from the giddy up, and I saw that because I was in that industry in technology, not to fucking. But I'm going to tell you something. This is how it was always meant to. This technology that we're using, that little phone you're listening to, or whatever technology, iPad, computer, laptop, whatever. This is how it was always meant to be used. Thank God for Steve Jobs, is all I got to say. Thank God for him, because he understood the visions. You could say to me, well, he didn't let his kids. Yeah, because he knew there was a massive, we got the dark web. Of course he didn't want his kids to use it. But when we use it like this is when we ascend in our conscious communications with each other, and your throat chakra, fucking do primal chanting. Come up with, a lot of people are coming up with language, right? Some people are full of shit, and some people actually are speaking like language. Discern, but speak in tongues, meaning let whatever's stuck in your throat chakra that was stuck when you were a child, because you couldn't express the shame. I remember a friend who this was happening to her every weekend while her family went to church for years. She became a narcissist. Why? Because she had to lie. She had to act like nothing had happened. And this became, and it rewired her brain. Okay? And that's just one story of many, many, many. I'm sorry, go ahead. Your turn.
No, I was just thinking, I love speaking a bit of alien, now and again, like language. But yeah, look, I mean, this is the point. All of your chakras are important. Okay? And it's really important to accept yourself. And by yourself, I'm not talking about your necessarily your 3D body. Yes, accept your 3D body, nourish it, love it, look after it. Okay, it's your vessel. It's the vessel in which you're going to do good on this planet. Okay, and yes, thank you. We know that there are more than 7 chakras. There are hundreds of chakras. But sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yes, accept that, but do accept, certainly accept the visions and the downloads, and the dreams and the messages that you are getting. It's a really important part of understanding your mission and coming to that point of ascension. You can't hope to ascend if you are continually being derailed by 3D programming.
Yeah.
And it's not that easy, right? It happens to all of us. Financial worries about housing, people fucking up all around us, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we're all going to have periods where we have 3D challenges. But if you get into the habit of working on your chakras, all your chakras, right, every day, not all 126 or whatever, but
the
certainly,
9.
at least 9.
Yeah,
right?
at least 9. Yeah.
If not 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Then getting into that habit means that even if you are in having a really bad period and you still manage to do that, that's when the rewards come in. Now, I'm not going to go into details, Tony, but you know what happened to me last week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
And that's the kind of magic that, magic.
Right?
Magic. Yeah.
Absolute. Something happened to me last week that was a massive gift
Mm-hmm.
of the universe. Massive.
Yeah.
Right? And the only reason that happened was because whatever else was going on, whatever other shit was being thrown at me,
Yeah.
I was still doing my chakra work, doing the meditation. I was still walking in light. I was still, working on bits and pieces to do with mission. And that's what you've got to do. And the rewards will come. You cannot be in, this, and I'm going to use a phrase that I hate, but you cannot be in this place of love and light and kumbaya and everything is wonderful all the time. That is not realistic, right?
Yeah.
We live in a really fucked up planet, okay? But what you can do is that you can continue, you can persevere, right? You can take that time to say, fuck you, I'm working on my chakras.
Right. And what it's showing us when we have guys like P. Diddy and R. Kelly, taking Aaliyah at the age of 12. Can you fucking, I just can't, okay? You got Hugh Hefner with his little girls that are fucking terrified and they don't have any, we pushing the sugar baby, sugar daddy concept, being pushed and pushed and pushed, where you've got 22-year-old girls at the mercy of 70-year-old men, 60-year-old men. I'm sorry. And we have normalized it. Hey, flex on. Yeah, man, you're a stud. Yeah, sick shit, my friends. Sick shit, because you as a man, and I've been a man before many, many times, and all I'm going to say to you is, as a man, it is if you want to be a divine masculine, if you don't see a 14-year-old girl as your potential daughter, granddaughter, then you better rewire your brain, because your brain has been rewired in the pleasure centers of your brain through your root chakra with porn and with your friends and locker room talk. And if your friends are low vibration on that level of consciousness, right, you know who they are, because all they talk about is chicks, sports, and money. And they think that is it. And politics, if they have a couple more marbles in their head. And that has been normalized. And the concept of real emotional brotherhood type talks, honest conversations about trauma, about what hurt, who hurt you when you were a little boy or whatever. Those kinds of things that maybe you were shamed by your mother in many ways, or your father, or both, okay? Because you were experimenting with your body, shit like that, right? Because it's normal. And you were demonized by your parents, shit like that. Like, if you don't have men that you can talk to about real shit, get new friends. I don't care if all you have is one doc holiday in your life. One. That's all you need is one doc holiday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the movie Tombstone. Best Western ever made on the planet. Because it showed the brotherhood of men when they're fucking real, about conversations that are important. Not the bullshit of the Super Bowl and cheerleaders and just more and more and more bullshit. All to grab the root chakra. You're grabbed by you're owned. So you need to rewire your brain. Can it be done? Yes, through sex magic with yourself. So let me give you some tips, my fine young brothers and sisters. When you pleasure yourself, when you're about to go to the old tried and true methods of, you know what I'm saying, your fantasies, stop, rewire, and do not let your body or your desires for that moment dictate where you're going. Because your job now is to rewire your brain back to its center and power. So how do you do that? Well, you fantasize about your beloved. You fantasize about the house you live in, the country you live in, and how abundant you are, how there's so much joy, how the tantric connection with your beloved is beautiful. And if you don't have a beloved, then you're going to actually manifest your beloved using the methods I've just described. If you have no one. But do not go for the okie doke, the safe bet, the true, I just want to relax. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. You want to rewire and reset yourself, and it all starts in the brain. It always, that's why people who have childhood trauma, they can't fix it. Time will not fix childhood trauma. In fact, there's an old line, time heal all wounds. No, it doesn't, because none of us would have childhood trauma. So clearly time doesn't heal. It doesn't fix itself, my friend. If you want to make dinner, you better get off your ass and start peeling potatoes. If you want the bed made, you better get off your ass and make the bed. If you want to heal, you better get off your ass and heal and rewire your brain, which will impact massively your root chakra, where you will get transformations. That's when your kundalini will awaken. And that's when you become such a potent energy, because now you discover what it is to be a multidimensional light being. Remember, this is a vessel, a 3D vessel. And let me encourage you, the fact that you can actually awaken through the density of 3D in these bodies with this brain, holy fuck, you're powerful already. It's your self-worth that's fucked you up. It's your bad habits that are fucking you up from ascending. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, this is the thing. If you can do this here in these bodies, right? If you can do this, right, with all of the things that you're being fed with, right, with the shitty food, right, and the fluorinated water, and the constant stream of mind-numbing, root chakra killing nonsense, right, that you're constantly being fed with. If you can ascend through that, you're a badass.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. It's you. Do you understand? They fear you. They fear you. Do you remember the scene in Godfather 3 where she's putting some wrong shit in the cannolis?
Oh yeah, wow.
And he said, and she said, they should fear you. He said, no, they should fear you. This little sister of his that looks completely benign. That's you. That's me. That's all of us. We look, because they don't respect us. So we're nice for you. You're like the, what do they call us? We're breeders and eaters. They have terms for us. But guess what? They should fear us. We don't fear them. That shit ends. We will never incarnate into this kind of consciousness ever fucking again. The jig is up. The game is done. Checkmate, mother ever. We're done.
Yeah. I just wanted to
Please.
talk about the Earth Star chakra.
Please,
right?
please. Yeah.
You know, we're talking about reclaiming the root chakra. But the chakra system goes beyond our bodies. And this is another example of where we are multidimensional, where we are more than just this body. So we have chakras all over our body. You know, we've got chakras in our organs and our joints, as well as the 9 main chakras, which I'm just going to name in case you're not familiar with them. But it starts with the root chakra, so perineal area. Lower abdominal is sacral. Around your belly button is hara. Upper abdomen is solar plexus. Center of your chest is heart. Upper chest is high heart. Around your throat is your throat chakra. Center of the forehead, third eye, and the top of your head is the crown chakra. Now you have chakras above and below your body called transpersonal chakras. And the one that I think that I got a download about earlier this week was the Earth Star chakra. The Earth Star chakra is about 12 inches or 30 centimeters below your feet. It's a rotating Merkaba. If you picture the stone hematite, okay, that lovely, almost like deep grey, sparkly stone, okay, it's that kind of colour. And it's a rotating Merkaba below your feet. And what that does is that really does connect, along with your root chakra, it really does connect to the wisdom and the power and the energy of the earth, Pachamama Gaia. Okay? So through using this chakra, through visualizing this chakra, and humbly asking for guidance and healing and energy and wisdom from Pachamama, then bringing this energy up your legs and into your root chakra, it will really propel your chakra work. It will really, really help you with that root chakra healing that we all need. And incorporate that into your chakra practice from now on, because they're really going for our root chakras. So by working with the Earth Star chakra, you will fortify your root chakra.
Right on. I want to send you guys it's a very simple mantra, and it starts, it's Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema. It's Sanskrit, which is a mathematical language. Many of you are new to this, to us, to me and Andromeda. We're partners in terms of our, we help heal, we do classes, things of that nature. But Ahom Prema means I am divine love. So a good thing for you to start doing is to speak to your body lovingly. And if your monkey mind is taking a sledgehammer to, I don't deserve it, I'm not happy, I'm not there, I'm not ready, I don't know enough, whatever the fuck dialogue you've got in your the tape, the monkey mind, I want you to speak over it with Ahom Prema. I am divine love. Do a screenshot of that. I just posted it. Ahom Prema. I am divine love. Why is that going to help you? It's going to help you when you actually turn your chakras clockwise. And you're going to be working on your chakras when you're driving, doing your laundry, and your monkey mind's just saying all kinds of bullshit. I've had clients say, as often until your monkey mind becomes trained to shut the hell up, so it becomes a servant to your soul. A servant to your soul, not the other way around, which is the norm, 99%. When you watch the documentary of Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, and she starts out with the Emerald Tablet, Thoth's Emerald Tablet, and she starts out with also showing the 1% at a table. And she says, they have kept this a secret for us for thousands of years. She says that. I'm paraphrasing. This is why the work you're going to do, like you're doing your laundry, you're gardening, you're boxing, you're running, you're walking, Ahom Prema. And you will have, it's almost like an exorcism. And eventually you will start waking up in the morning with divine voices. What does that mean? Your guides will say, and they'll start downloading, today's a good day. Today you need to do this and that. In fact, get up right now and do your meditation right now. You are so loved. And other downloads, questions you have. Should I move country? Should I move job? They will give you the answers. But first, you've got to declutter and train your monkey mind so that you can enjoy your crown chakra downloads, so you can get aha moments, and also you'll get understanding of what's going to happen next through the third eye. And you'll be able to speak with confidence. And if people, I remember when I was in my 30s, people will prove to me reincarnation works. Today, my answer is, I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. I actually don't have time for you. It's like I don't. I'm not here to prove that the sun rises and sets. I don't need to prove anything. You don't either. You move through life attracting your frequency match. And the reason why you're surrounded by muggles, you know what I mean by muggles, right? It's because your frequency, it's not that you're not a good person. It's that you don't believe you deserve more. You don't believe and honor yourself as a multi-dimensional light being. You believe that money, P. Diddy, Usher, Beyonce, Brooke Shields, let's come up with other names, were all celebrated for their wealth and beauty. Okay? And that doesn't make you less than. In fact, what I found interesting about celebrities is they bore I'm not saying that to be politically correct. They are boring. They don't know what it's like to miss a meal. They don't know what it's like to have your electricity or your cell phone bill cut off. And then you have to try to figure out how to hustle. That builds character, because you've actually overcome massive shit, loss of friends, and loss of friends through the energy frequency changing, and also through them unaliving themselves. That'll build character, because you got to figure out, my God, what did I miss? All of these bad experiences you thought were bad were actually gifts to actually bolster your understanding of the human condition and the injustice that has been plaguing this beautiful planet for thousands of years. It's not that you don't want to incarnate into planet Earth, my friends. It's that you don't want the fuckery of the 1% and its current infrastructure. That's the problem. Or else you'd say, oh yeah, I'll be back. This is a beautiful planet. It's so diverse. You see, the planet's never been the problem. It's been the 1% and the infrastructure we've agreed on. So now it's about, we do not consent. Are you a blue pillar or are you a red pillar? Which pill are you taking? And then never look back. Don't look back. Don't regress. Don't go, oh my God, I'm going back to Jesus. If you're going to go back to anything, go to Yeshua. Go to Buddha, right? Mary Magdalena. Like, learn the truth that was suppressed by the Catholic Church for the very reason of suppressing us.
Yeah.
You have to remember this. When they created the Bible, as we know it today, at the Nicaea Council, it wasn't for your benefit. In fact, Constantine didn't even believe in that shit. They had to baptize him after he passed. He died. He didn't believe in any of that shit. It was just to suppress the people. Do you know why? Because reincarnation was in the scriptures. And you know what was happening? People under the yoke of the 1% were going, fuck this. I mean, I don't want to live like this, so I'm just going to unalive myself. That's what was happening, actually. They didn't want to be farmers and slaves and shit like that. So there's a famous true story of a stallion that was caught. And he put his nose in the trough of water. And men tried to pull his neck out until he was no longer with us. His freedom was more important than being broken by any cowboy. That I remember hearing that story when I was like 12, 13 years old. I never forgot the story. Even animals want their freedom more than anything at all. Even animals have sense. And somehow we have been trained to think this is all we'll ever have, all we'll ever enjoy. All will, you know, some people just get rich, money is the root of all evil. Yeah, that was a psyop manufactured to make you think that money is the problem. It isn't money that's the problem. Because again, there are people like P. Diddy right now who are broke on welfare doing the shit he's doing. Not to the grandiosity. Maybe not 1,000 baby oil bottles. Maybe just one. But the end result is the same. You get what I'm saying? Don't get caught up in the bullshit, my friend, because when you raise your frequency, abundance comes. When you're depressed, when you've lost someone you love, it fucks up your root chakra and it takes a while to recover. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You're good. You'll make it out of it. You'll be fine. But you're not failing. You are actually kicking such ass by just demanding more. More of what? More freedom to read more books, to meditate, to be with your families, to raise wonderfully conscious, empathic kids. Not kids running the streets because you need 3 jobs just to make the rent. And that's been forced on us, and we've been the propaganda of forcing us to think this is okay. And be grateful for what you have. Yes, be grateful for the roof over your. I agree. Gratitude is going to magnify your ability to greater abundance. I agree. But don't just settle for the 8 of cups. And what I mean is go, keep going, be a nomad. Internally, externally. Don't be afraid of experiencing different lives in one incarnation. What does that mean? Go to Nepal. Go to Morocco. Go to Japan. Go. I don't give a fuck what you do. Go to Greece. If Greece hits you, then put the money together and make it happen. Okay? Because that's going to really open your eyes to other ways of living. Follow Americans in other countries. Listen to what they're saying. That's not to say don't be a patriot to this country. It doesn't mean, jump ship. It means I need you to wake the fuck up. And sometimes the way you wake the fuck up is by experiencing other realities. And they don't happen in one country. They don't. You have to travel in other countries. Oh, well, I don't know Japanese. Okay, and Google Translator. Don't you have a phone? Yeah, you do. Okay, well, then use it. All of that is very important. Go ahead, my love. I'm sorry. I go on these tangents.
No, that was actually beautiful. This idea of being nomadic. I just wanted to touch on something you said about gratitude. And you can Google this this diagram of frequency. and the various frequency that different emotions have. Now understand this, right? That only tells you so much. You will have a core frequency as well, but your core frequency will fluctuate depending on what you're experiencing and how you process that. Okay, but gratitude is high up in the list of high vibrational emotions. What you're doing with gratitude, and whether it's just, you just make a list in your head. That's what I do. Okay, I make a list of things that I'm grateful for in my head before I begin my my meditation. Okay, or chanting. And what that's doing is it's saying to the universe, I acknowledge you for the wonderful gifts that you've given me, and I'm grateful. I acknowledge that I'm in this body. I've been granted this existence. I've been given this mission, and I am grateful for it. I am grateful for the experiences that you give to me, both the experiences that I may perceive as a human, which are good or bad, and even if the experiences, notwithstanding horrific things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to trivialize anything that anyone's been through, right? But just say somebody's an arsehole to you at work, right? Or somebody like steps on your toe, or you miss the train, right? These little experiences, okay, which threaten our vibration, right? Where we go from a feeling of peace to suddenly this frustration and anger. But it's how you process them, okay? And it's expressing gratitude for all the little nuances that you will experience throughout your day. That will instantly get you into a higher vibration. And the energy, you will attract like energy. You will attract
Always.
that higher vibrational people. You will attract more abundance. You'll attract more peace. You will be able to attract love. Okay, and companionship. Should you desire that?
Yeah, but let's also talk about the dark side of that, so you guys don't freak the fuck out. Okay, what happens when you start awakening into your ascension, into your light, okay, into your power? What happens is the universe is going to start attacking you. Why? Not the universe, but nefarious, like dark forces. They're going to start attacking you. And the average human being will actually run back to their cave and go, oh my God, I need to go back to my religion, or whatever the hell it is, right? And in fear, right? And so just know that you're actually on mark. Because if you're being attacked, because now you're important, see? You're important because now you're actually overcoming all the fucking rhetoric bullshit that has kept you trapped in the loop, the hamster wheel of incarnations. Like sometimes 5 incarnations in a 100-year period. I'm not kidding. And so now you're finally coming out, rising out of the ashes, okay? And now you're actually dangerous. You're powerful. And so the dark and nefarious forces are going to start probably attacking you, which is good. It says, wow, I'm on the path. Now, will this happen to all of you? Some of you, no, not at all. Not at all. But some of you, yes. And so you need to know how to protect yourself. And you don't go to a bruja or another person of that level to fucking get protected. You go to the old tried and true. Work on your chakras, call on your archangels, sage your rooms, sage your house every day. Shit like that. It's very simple to get them out. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, get the fuck out of here. I'm not joking. It works. I've done it. Get the fuck out of here. We're done. And call on the archangels that you connect with the most. I will give you names. Archangel Metatron, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Ezekiel, Shamuel, those archangels. Call on the ones you really connect to, though. I'm just giving you examples. It works. If it didn't work, I'd be a basket case. And I have been spiritually attacked. In fact, most of us, all of us can say, many of us who follow, we have a little group where we do classes, and that particular group, damn near all of these high priestesses and goddesses have been spiritually attacked because they're actually breaching massive habits and loopings from many of their incarnations. They're breaking through family lineage toxicity, and also their own patterns from many, many incarnations. Like there's some scars, past habits and things of that nature. You want to add to this?
Yeah, what you'll also find is that the attacks will change in nature, right? So that they'll start off as almost like purely spiritual attacks. Okay, when you get to a point where you're just like, do you know what, just fuck off, right? I'm not having your shit. Then you'll start getting attacked in the 3D so that they can lower your vibration enough to attack you in other ways, right? Yeah. And it keeps on happening, and it's not a bad thing, right? It just means that you're on the right path.
Right on.
They're not, there's a saying that, the devil's not going to attack those doing his work.
Exactly. And that's exactly what's interesting with that say, the devil is not going to attack those doing his work. That is a very powerful line, because what happens is that is true, but now the light beings who see people are saying, well, who did he piss off? Let's go back to P. Diddy. Who did he piss off, right? Because Clive Davis has done it. Elvis Presley did it. They all did it, okay? So what's happening with him? Well, what's happening with him is he has destroyed way too many souls that will cross over and will have to be healed by the light teams. The damage he and people like him have done is so egregious that when those souls drop their bodies by their own hands or by just natural causes, these souls will have to be brought to a crystalline room to be cleared and cleaned and recalibrated.
Yeah.
That's why the shit happened. That's one of the many, many reasons besides the distraction. That's why I'm giving you I'm asking you to do a 360 because we're being distracted by all kinds of shit. Let me just say, but do you understand that? So the light team will come in and go, yeah, we're done, dude. P. Diddy, yeah, brakes on. Fuck you, we're done. And so now, right? He's not even been allowed to leave. I've never heard of somebody offering $50 million and being denied bail. I've never, with an ankle and the whole thing. Never heard of it. I'm going to tell you a story real quick of a client of mine, a young man who had done a felony, okay? And he was terrified of spending time in jail. No shit, he was a young man. And I said to him, listen, you're going to have to visualize the end result. Fuck how it gets there. Fuck how it happens. Don't even worry about it. Just keep chanting, work on your chakras, visualize the end result that the judge throws out the case, right? And he said, that's impossible. My attorney said no. I said, look, I don't give a shit what your attorney has said. I need you to control your monkey mind that's barreling into the tunnel of fear, where it's going to manifest the very thing you don't want, and you're going to manifest all charges dropped. Goes to court. Okay, this is usually before you go to trial. With his attorney. And the judge actually throws the case out. And the attorney goes, what the fuck happened? I've never seen anything like that happen. What the fuck happened? He couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. So P. Diddy's arrogance, his stupidity and arrogance, his evil, right? His deviant lust brought a judge to say no to $50 million. That should tell you something, right? So when you ask yourself, who did he piss off? He pissed off the universe. And everyone else is a pawn on that game. Because it's by design, because now we're supposed to see things for what they are and step away from the celebrities as one by one they plummet. And the ones that will rise, like a Mel Gibson, who was bastardized, hunted down like he was a demon. They did the same thing to Shirley MacLaine when she came out with her book, Out on a Limb. Out on a Limb, what a title. 1982. In other words, when people speak the truth, they are witch hunted. When they are part of the problem, they thrive. They seem to thrive. Have you noticed? Unless they're completely out of the public eye. And they're like Michael Singer, who's a billionaire. And if I saw him on the streets, I wouldn't even know who he is. He's that careful with his privacy. Did you want to add to that in terms of energies and why he's been struck down?
Yeah, there's a critical mass effect here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like a critical mass of souls, and he just couldn't be allowed to continue anymore. And either there are two reasons really why these people end up where he is. Either it's the critical mass effect, or he was about to start talking, and they needed to silence him. Right. That's, and I don't believe that is the case with him. I believe it's the critical mass effect.
Yes, I agree with you.
With P. Diddy.
Exactly.
But smaller time offenders, that's what happens. They'll be silenced somehow, right? By the somebody mentioned the word cartel. It's quite a good description of them, right?
Yes.
But the energy of the negative energy that he has generated is something that could no longer be overlooked by source energy, the galactic council, and the light beings.
Exactly.
It just could no longer be overlooked. The harm that he was doing.
It's like he was a serial KILLER, but of the souls. And very similar to serial, KIs. When they drop their bodies, they go to a special place. I'm not kidding. They're not allowed to go back to their soul group. They're not allowed to mix with any souls. They go back into a place where they're cleansed, and recalibrated. I'm not joking. Okay, so there's a special place for these. The crystal children are here to recalibrate the grid. Yes, my love, but here's the thing. If the crystal children are here and being essayed, that's not happening, is it? That's the point. So what you're saying is absolutely correct. But what you've got to, and I'm sure you understand, but the crystal grids are being born in the mines of the Congo in Africa. The crystal grids are being born in Indonesia, in the hovels of India, in the ghettos of this country. They're not living the 1% life. That's where the crystal kids are, and that's where they're being grabbed, and you know what they're doing to them. So we can say kumbaya crystal kids all day long, but until this 1%, like you said, cartel, are completely removed from our conscious day-to-day life, the crystal kids don't have a shot in hell. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? They don't.
It's very much like Moses, right? Andromeda, Moses.
Yeah.
When the Pharaoh went after the Moses, well, they're going after the crystal kids. Does that make sense now? See, that's why we need to have these conversations, because it's not one Moses as an example, because it's the simplest example for all of us to use. It's probably 100 million Moseses. 100 million Mary Magdalene's, Yeshua's, these crystal kids, and they're grabbing those kids, and you know it. Sound of freedom. Okay, we have this weird idea of what that looks like and where they populate these children. They populate in the worst places on the planet to actually recalibrate the grid. But they're being prevented and they're being harmed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's the point, and that's why we're seeing that's why we're seeing so much of it when it comes to certain areas of the world. And I won't say any more than that, but that's these areas in which it's happening on a mass scale, on a mechanized scale.
Right.
It's significant. So that's a beautiful point. Nalani Alo, this is why we have survived to bring justice. Yes. Mm-hmm. But ask yourself, what does justice look like?
Exactly.
Right? Justice is not through the courts. Justice is a new earth.
Yes.
Justice is abundance and peace for all.
Right. The courts is just an entertainment. It's a distraction. I hope the courts open it up so you guys, I don't think I'm going to watch a lot of it, to be honest. I don't give a shit. My attention is, how do we get the message to the new earth about what this means? How do we help people forgive their bodies for betraying them when they were harmed, when they're essayed? How do we communicate all of these? How do we stop having mundane, stupid ass conversations and have real conversations? Let me tell you, Every time I have conversations with the plumber, the electrician, the checkout counter, right? At this, you'd be amazed how these people are hungry for these kinds of conversations, starving. They don't give a fuck about the weather or if it's going to rain. No one gives a fuck about that anymore. They want real conversations about how do I get off this hamster wheel? Who's fucking us? They all want to talk about it. Why do they want to talk about it? Because they want to know if what is what I'm thinking. Is what I'm thinking normal? Am I crazy or are other people thinking it? And they're so used to having mundane conversations with the average Joe or Jane that when you come up as a breath of fresh air, confirming all of their thoughts, yeah, you're not crazy. Many of us are thinking that shit. Really? Yeah, because many of them are surrounded by muggles. And so they're feeling lost. Can you imagine? It's like a Twilight Zone episode. Remember that Twilight episode where the girl's absolutely beautiful and everyone has a face of a pig and she's considered ugly? Yeah, that's how it feels to be spiritually awakened. Feels like everyone thinks you're ugly and you're fucking beautiful and they all have faces like pigs. And remember that? I don't know if you guys remember, but it was, again, some of these, Gene Roddenberry and these guys were writing screenplays. They were light bringers. They were star seeds coming in to speak to us because they saw the fuckery. One of my past lives is part of the Ascended Masters in the Karmic Council. I remember. That's good. It's sovereign universal laws to take in our own rights. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You guys understand. When we drop our bodies, when Andromeda and me and others drop our bodies, if the crystalline kids are not protected with the ferocity you're hearing us speak about it, you guys will be gone. You'll be fucked. So you better get very indignant and have the what we call the what is it called when we say the not indignant rage, righteous rage. A lot of people are afraid of anger. Well, there's toxic anger, like the disappointments of being told no, you can't get bail for $50 million. I can only imagine, and having tantrums. Or you've got righteous rage, like Angel Michael, righteous rage, because you demand you're not consenting to this shit anymore. And how it's going to present itself for you individually, you better step into the fire. You better walk the coals, the coals, and realize that you will come out the other side transformed. There will be moments when your voice will shake or you'll shake in your body, but you better start talking and you better start doing content that reflects this philosophy that we do not consent. And why, and what are we claiming? So not only do you not consent, right? I do not consent, but I claim the new earth. I claim 5D. I claim the end. I claim abundance for everyone. You don't have to say, and do not say, I do not consent to famine or Geno or that. Don't say that. Say, I consent to peace. I consent and I claim abundance for everyone, where there's food and lodgings and abundance and peace and lots of time, lots of free time to just enjoy. I claim that for everyone. That's what you see. You don't ever talk about what you don't want. That's not an affirmation, and that you won't manifest shit. But if you do it that way, where you claim all the positive, adjectives, nouns, pronouns, whatever the fuck you want, however you want to claim that, and ignore what you don't want. Do not put attention on what you don't want. Don't say, I don't want children to be harmed. Say, all children are free and safe. Does that make sense? That's going to be very important. Be very specific. Because what I'm finding out is that a lot of people are manifesting shit. I don't want to be broke. The universe uses and hears broke. That's not going to manifest anything. So you want to manifest, I am always abundant. I always have what I need, and sometimes even more. Or you can say, I have more and more and more than I need. And I'm able to share with people who don't, for now, have enough. Because that's the goal of that. Let me explain something to you, and if you don't mind, I want us to talk about going back to Tupac, who at the age of 23, talking about how there's an inconsistency and an injustice to all this billionaires, right? So we all know that hoarding, and I brought this before in other lives, so this is for the new people. Hoarding is a mental disease. We all know that, right? We're aware that when a woman or a man hoards, old newspapers and 60 cats and litter boxes everywhere and plates that have never been cleaned, and we know, right? Well, it is no different than the hoarding of millions. The billionaires and the trillionaires, and we have a few, are hoarders. It's a mental disease. I hope you understand that. Please stop looking up to these bastards because it's a mental disease. What do you want to say about that? About this hoarding mentality that we put these people on pedestals?
Yeah, I mean, if we think about the 3D lies that we're told, right? Like trickle down theory or the bootstrap theory of economics, on which the capitalist system is based, is completely it's incorrect, right? It's a mathematically incorrect theory, but it's also completely undermined by the people who are held up as examples of capitalist success,
right?
The billionaires, right? Because they simply hoard their wealth, they build their bunkers, they don't really do very much to give back, all right, as we would, right? If we had that kind of wealth, we would be giving back, we would be getting shit done, right? But they don't, right? They just hoard it, right? As some kind of symbol of a virtue that is assigned to material wealth, which is completely reptilian and false. And the point about this is that there is enough on this planet to support every inhabitant on it. This false narrative of scarcity, again attacking our root chakra, but this false narrative of scarcity is nothing more than a divisive tactic to attempt to keep us in separation consciousness. And this is what having multiple billionaires does. This inequality on this planet, it does not exist on other planets. Even the draconians, right? Even the draconians don't have this level of inequality on their planet, and they're fuckers, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely.
None of their children starve.
No, exactly. And we're saying that with reptilian mindset. That should tell you something. So when even draconians don't even do this fuckery, imagine. And that's something that is needs to blow your mind, because we have been trained to see royal families as above us. We have been trained to look up at them with respect and self-shaming that we were poor. Poverty, some of the most brilliant men and women I've ever met were poor. Some by design. They were like, I don't want to be on the hamster wheel. I can't do it. I'm just not wired for this. Look at Nikola Tesla. Look at the fuckery they did on this man who wanted to give out free energy. Do you know he was studying, I forgot if it was Idaho or Dakota, I forgot. There was a cave. He had chosen this mountaintop that had quartz crystal. It was an abandoned cave that had quartz crystal. And he was trying to study thunderstorms. It's a place that has the most lightnings in America, I believe. And here he was harnessing energies free for all. And Edison walked in and took not only the title of inventing electricity, number one. And there was a black man who was working under him who he stole that idea from, the light bulb. So you have to look at look at Bill Gates. He stole the software, Windows. You have to understand that poverty sometimes isn't because the person's stupid. Quite often, poverty is because the person's loving and giving and wants to give it for everyone, and they get fucked over. The guy who invented the smiley face, he never patented it because he wanted people to have that as a symbol of happiness. He didn't want to be rich. Do you understand? And not because he didn't want to be rich, probably, but because he didn't want people to not have access to a symbol of a smiley face. Do you understand? You need to start looking at these people with disgust. Disgust. Holy fuck. Nikola Tesla wanted us to be free with electricity. Look at the motherfucking bills you guys are paying for during the winter months if you're in the Northeast. or winter, Midwest, UK, wherever there's snow. It was supposed to be free. So when you look at poor people, have more respect. Have more respect for yourself. Because there's certain things you're not willing to do. There are people that walked into P. Diddy's party, teenagers will never know their name, who literally walked right out if they were able to. Some of them never came back, but they were never right again. We never hear of the people that do the right thing. It's a fucking miracle we know even Nikola Tesla's name, to be honest. But most people who are righteous and good, it's not that they don't want to have money to enjoy and to get a beautiful villa by the ocean and this and that, but their souls are so hell-bent on helping the planet and its inhabitants that they will forego that for the greater good, and they get fucked over again and again. And we need to stop that shit. That shit needs to end. These are some sick people. The majority are narcissistic and some malignant. And so the root chakra, going back to that, is exactly why they are so invested in making sure that we will never get off our knees. And the root chakra is the quickest way for us to be, destroyed. And so it's perpetuated, with priests and monks, and we have history of that. We have history of all kinds of authority figures that should have been trusted that were not trusted. And what's the quickest way to destroy the root chakra of everyone? To destroy the sacred masculines first, because they are physically stronger. Okay. And to get to their root chakra means that they will be confused, distracted, and unable to feel to protect children and the sacred feminine, to do her magical work. But on another end, let me say, and when that doesn't work, what do? They create WARs to get rid of all the sacred masculines, because sacred masculines are brave and courageous, and they'll do shit that most other people won't do, risking their lives, putting their lives on the line. And many of them don't come back, right? And some of them who come back are so fucked in the head that they can't even cope, right? It's all by design. So all of that is crumbling. And so if you think it's too late, it isn't. My twin was actually paving the road for you. He was a hippie that never stopped being a hippie. A lot of them hung their hair up on the hook, cut their hair, put on ties, and went right into the system that gobbled them up into the system and became the MFers that we have to deal with today. I'm a boomer, proud of it, because I have never forgotten the fuckery. So you need to understand that for some of us, we will not see the age of the 5D, but many of you, we're fighting for you. Respect yourselves. Have those hard conversations, right? And honor yourself. If a boss is treating you like, that's what I love about these fucking new kids. They don't give one fuck. They'll quit. They don't, an hour's notice. Have my check ready. Gone. I love that. Love it. That's how it should be. You take care of yourself, and when you heal yourself, you heal me and Andromeda Flame. When Andromeda Flame and I are healing ourselves, we heal you. It is the 100 monkey theory, more and more. And for Billy Carson just did a little quick snap on that very thing, on the 100 monkey theory. Because a lot of people don't know what it is. Do you want to explain that to them, the 100 monkey theory? Because I know you'll say it a lot better than me.
Oh, I don't know if I will,
I think...
I didn't see Billy Carson's thing on it.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you because I was shocked he was bringing it up with a self-respect and respectful interactions. We have to realize that until we had this technology, we were separated by land, mountains, oceans, rivers, lakes, languages, Tower of Babylon. But here we are we all have a common goal. And what is that common goal? The new earth. Why? Because we have seen ourselves in many of our incarnations and others suffer, and it's been unfair. And the universal galactic council, God, however you want to see the others, the one of 1,000 names, the one who created us all, right? However you see this machine that created us as souls, is begging us to do the work, to actually push that door open. Personally, me, I'm into kicking it open, but they've unlocked the door. So now this is our age. This age is our age, and it's based on ancient wisdoms, forgotten pre-Atlantean, before Atlantis. Your homework also is to look up Zachariah Stitchin's The 12th Planet. Start reading his books on the Sumerian tablets. You need to wake up and hurry as to how you were made as humanoids in the humanoid races that you see today walking the earth. The diversity is a gift, not a curse. And as long as we have Confederate flags and other flags waving in fucking lawns, on people's lawns with impunity, we are fucked. The divide and conquer of races, genders, you're gay, you're straight, you're bisexual, who gives a fuck? It's been done by design. It was enforced. And when we started seeing that was collapsing, and it is collapsing, boom, root chakra porno. In other words, once you own all your parts and you no longer play the racist game and you no longer play the homophobic game, when you stop all that shit, because you've been gay, you've been straight, you've been bi, you've been everything, all of it, okay? Once you own that, you become not the chosen one, my friend, even better. You become the untouchable ones. That's why they're afraid of you. That's exactly right.
They certainly are. And the 100th monkey theory was actually based on the study of monkeys in Japan, right? That's actually where it comes from. And it's this idea that a new behavior or idea is spread rapidly, right, from one group to all related groups, until a critical number, again, this idea of critical mass, right, a critical number of members within that group actually display the behavior. And then it affects all members of that group. So look at our existence on Earth, right? We're sitting here talking about these ideas. We're sitting talking about the new Earth, how to ascend, working on our chakras, doing our healing work, meditating, getting divine downloads. Every single one of you has a community. Every single one of you can pass on this idea to someone else, who will then pass it on to someone else and someone else and someone else and someone else, until the roar from those of us who wish to see the earth do better, wish to see humanity do better, our roar will be unavoidable. They will not be able to ignore us anymore. They will not be able to defeat us. And that's what we all have to believe and manifest. Even if you just speak to one other person over the next week about this, and set off a chain reaction in their consciousness.
Many of you say to yourself, well, my mother's not ready. Your mother probably knows that this is bullshit. And your mother is starting to realize that she has worked for nothing. She has worked herself to the bone, and she can't even realize. She knows she'll never retire. My father's not ready. My uncle, my aunt, my brother's not ready. I just told you about the concept of hoarding and the mental illness of hoarding in a basic house, somebody's apartment or house. And then I gave you the analogy of billionaires hoarding, right? And you understood that. It made sense. It hit you hard, right? It hit you like somebody like slammed you in the third eye. Boom. And you went, wait, hang on, I never saw it like that, right? But now you see what that is, right? You understand that. So when you start taking basic acceptances of the system we have been oppressed for thousands of years, and you flip it on its fucking back, like that, you will give people aha moments. Sometimes awakenings are slow. Sometimes they're immediate. They're like, what the fuck? I never thought of that. What the fuck? Yes, because I'm going to tell you something that you don't remember. The barons, they're called barons, the oil barons, the locomotion barons, you know, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefeller, all these guys, right, that were making money and pushing the Native American people into reservations, you know, fucking them out of their land and their freedom, their ability to be free, to take care of themselves and their people, right? Okay. The one thing you got to give them credit for, guess what they were doing with their millions? They were fucking at least building hospitals and libraries and museums. Did you know that? And schools. These MFers have done nothing, and they have way more money than these men ever did. These men, in the turn of the century into the 1920s and 30s, were building hospitals, museums, schools, whole communities, helping. Did you know that? Do you remember that in your history books? And that is why they've gone too far with the hoarding. Right, Andromeda?
Yeah, absolutely. They've gone way too far with the hoarding, way too far with the concentration of wealth.
Yeah.
And this is this is a problem on this planet.
Yeah.
Quite a unique problem on this planet. I'm going to have to go and get
Yeah.
ready for the week.
I wanted to thank you, but give your final thoughts before we go.
The final thoughts are, firstly, that all of this is happening in divine perfect timing. This collective awakening that we are seeing. We are here to do a very specific job, and that is to see the ascension of planet Earth into the 5D, so that there's a better existence for all.
Yeah.
How do we do that? We start with ourselves. We get ourselves to a point where we can ascend into the energy of ascension, manifesting the new Earth, the 100th monkey theory. Okay? Don't forget that you have your part to play. And even if you only have this conversation with one other person, that is a chain reaction that will become unstoppable, a wave of beautiful souls ushering in the new Earth.
Beautiful. We are going to upload this live on my YouTube channel. You can look it up on my profile, on my link tree. The YouTube channel is there. If you don't want to look through that, just type in Sacred Intimacy Tarot on my YouTube channel, and you'll see the art. You'll see, you know, you'll be able to recognize it's me and Andromeda. And Andromeda and I are going to be offering classes. Again, we did a whole Tantra class. We did a manifestation class, an energy frequency. We're about to do that next. If you want to follow us, please, right now is the time to follow Andromeda Flame or myself. And please go on the YouTube channel. You need to look at the beginning of this live, because it actually sets up the foundation of the conscious shift that we were sharing with you guys. It's very important to start from the very beginning, so you can actually get all of the downloads, all of the nectar of these ancient wisdoms that we're sharing with you because this is our path to help as many as we can. I want to send you all much love on your journey. Thank you so much. Namaste. Be well.